The champion of the world with France, a serial winner in his clubs, and a heart like no other in the footballing world. It's the one and only N'Golo Kante. How did he reach these heights? Just like so many French talents, N'Golo Kante was born in the outskirts of Paris too. A child of immigrant parents from Mali, N'Golo was regularly the quietest kid on the block both on and off the pitch. It's interesting, though, that N'Golo got his name after the Bamana Empire king, Ngolo Diarra. He started off his footballing career in JS Sournes, the local club he joined when he was just 8 years old. Usually, when we talk about today's superstars, their trajectories often meant moving to the big academy early on. However, that wasn't the case for Kante. The determined midfielder was always quiet and selfless, doing quite literally everything to help his team win, even if it meant putting himself completely in the shadows. It's for this reason that Kante remained at his first club for a decade before he moved to Boulogne. The only reason he got the second division Boulogne was his childhood club's president, who pulled some strings in order to help Kante move to the next level because, according to his coach at the time, Kante was too small and unselfish that he hardly ever got noticed. His first real season came in 2012-13 when he played in the third division for Boulogne, who were relegated the season before. Kante played almost every match of the league campaign, and his solid performances recommended him to the second division Cayenne. However, unlike most footballers would in his place, Kante never forgot about school. At 21 years of age, parallel to winning football matches, Golo studied whenever he wasn't running. This led him to graduate as he received a diploma in the area of vocational accounting. This was the first time that Kante's winning mentality, which we would see so often later on, came to light. As soon as he arrived, Kante established himself as the team leader on the pitch and played a key part in Cayenne's promotion to Ligue 1. Out of nowhere, at 23 years of age, Kante started getting noticed by some bigger clubs. A boy who played in his local club, not even dreaming of the highest level football, carved his way through and he was about to play in the Ligue 1, the strongest French football competition. He immediately specialized in breaking up the opposition attacks, doing so without a single dangerous tackle, always well-measured, always hard-working. N'Golo Kante became a player with most interceptions out of all players in Europe in the 2014-15 season. And then, something even more amazing happened. Steve Walsh was doing the recruitment at Leicester in the summer of 2015. Leicester City recently gained promotion to the Premier League, and they wanted big things as they already had Riyad Mahrez and Jamie Vardy signed up in the squad. Kante was called upon, and Cayenne let him go for a fee of around $8 million, a true bargain for a player of such quality. Remember when he played a key part in Cayenne's promotion to Ligue 1 as soon as he arrived? Well, he repeated the success at Leicester, only on a 10 times bigger scale, as the Foxes won the Premier League that season, producing one of, if not the biggest sporting upsets of all time. N'Golo Kante did everything on the pitch. He recovered balls, broke up the attacks, initiated the counters, and never stopped running. While Kante wasn't noticed a lot in the youth categories, which is somewhat natural as scouts tend to focus on goal scorers in those age groups, Kante was more than recognized after Leicester won the league. His importance to the team is best reflected upon the fact that he won Leicester City's Players' Player of the Year when they conquered England. Not only that, but he was included in the Premier League's best as his name showed up on the PFA Team of the Year list. The meteoric rise of Kante continued as Antonio Conte demanded that Chelsea bring in the midfielder. Once Kante joined Chelsea, he did what he does best. Kante helped Chelsea win the Premier League, thus succeeding Leicester as the champions. The only common denominator for these two sides? Yeah, that's right, N'Golo Kante. Once again, Kante picked up numerous individual awards. However, this time he was playing for the higher-profile Chelsea, meaning that his performances received even more attention than the year before. So his career peaked when he won the PFA Players' Player of the Year award for the 2016-17 season. It goes without saying, but he was Antonio Conte's favorite, just as he was for Claudio Ranieri back in Leicester. There's a funny story involving Kante and Ranieri when the Frenchman just joined Leicester. Ranieri said it as following. The man runs on batteries hidden in his shorts. This player, Kante, he was running so hard that I thought he must have a pack full of batteries hidden in his shorts. He never stopped running in training. I had to tell him, "Hey, N'Golo, slow down. Don't run after the ball every time, okay?" He says to me, "Yes, boss, yes, okay." 10 seconds later, I look over and he's running again. I tell him, "One day I'm going to see you cross the ball and then finish the cross with a header yourself." The awards kept racking up, with N'Golo claiming perhaps the highest honor as he won the French Player of the Year in 2017, topping the likes of Paul Pogba, Antoine Griezmann, Ousmane Dembele, or Dimitri Payet. He also ended up in the top 10 in the Ballon d'Or voting, finishing as 8th. It's safe to say that the shy and selfless boy from the Sournes made his way to the worldwide stardom with everyone, and by that, we really do mean everyone, can see his impact on the pitch as he constantly makes those around him better. However, while his on-the-pitch performances were more than impressive, a lot of details from his hidden private life came to light. And there was nothing in it. Kante was just an ordinary man, a devoted Muslim who helps clean up the mosque, helps the poor, and in general keeps a low profile. He especially impressed everyone when they realized he'd been arriving and training with Mini, a car known for many things, but showboating wasn't one of them. So among Bentleys, BMWs, Ferraris, and all the other powerful machines, there was Kante's Mini, as compact as he is, and as reliable as Kante is on the pitch. This was actually an improvement in terms of transportation. Back in Boulogne, in the second and third division of French football, Ngolo Kante transported to the training and matches on a kick scooter. Keep in mind, this was just a couple of years before Kante would go on and lead Leicester to win the Premier League out of nowhere, acting as the leader of a historic feat. Another detail of Kante's humbleness was revealed later on. When Chelsea wanted to sign Kante, they offered the player to send some of the salary to the offshore account, thus freeing Kante of paying taxes. In a shocking twist of events, N'Golo Kante refused that option, stating that the salary is more than big enough in itself. Football Leaks published this along with his lawyer's email saying, "Ngolo is flexible, he simply wants a normal salary." Kante would go on to win the ultimate trophy, a World Cup with his country in 2018. Another funny scene ensued as the players were celebrating the trophy after the final. Kante was perhaps one of the best performers in the tournament, but he definitely wasn't the loudest. So as everyone was celebrating, Nzonzi noticed that Kante didn't even touch the trophy. The midfielder stood in the back all the time, allowing others to take the glory, fame, and take photos. So Nzonzi basically had to force Kante to take the photo with the World Cup trophy, as the humble N'Golo didn't want to do it himself. Kante created a dynamic midfield duo with Paul Pogba, as the two were by far the most important players in the squad, constantly recovering balls and launching the counterattacks. After the World Cup, Pogba acknowledged his partner by saying that Kante could outrun 11 players. Everybody knows that N'Golo Kante can run for 11 players. That's his best quality. He gets the ball and plays simple. When the manager tells him something, he will do it, and he will do it perfectly. He's one of the biggest players for Chelsea. He makes the difference because, to be honest, when they lose the ball, he will lose the ball 3 times and win the ball back 4 times. He's everywhere. He's a big player. Winning the World Cup as a surefire starter confirmed what we already knew, that N'Golo Kante is a full-fledged superstar, capable of reaching the highest of heights. The following season brought disappointment as Kante left the club due to some board disagreements, and then Maurizio Sarri took over. The Italian player offensive line of football, which needed every player on the pitch to arrive to the technical perfection. This was in contrast with his previous Premier League managers, as both Ranieri and Kante relied on the counterattacks and defense, which allowed Kante's talents to fully shine. However, he now had to adapt as Sarri constantly repeated that he wants more from Kante on the ball. For the first time in England, Golo was properly challenged, and he took it on. Kante improved his ball handling skills drastically, making the most out of his low center of gravity and speed, at moments making himself look more like Messi than Makelele, a player he was often compared to due to the defensive midfielder similarities. Kante actually modeled his play after Lassana Diarra, a player famous for wearing the number 10 at Real Madrid, despite having almost none on-the-ball skills. Despite some other players having a head start with their skill set, Kante once again imposed himself with only hard work and selflessness and gained the starting spot at Chelsea, which he wouldn't let go. Frank Lampard joined after Sarri's department, and now, after fighting off some injuries, Kante looks as good as ever, playing in the box-to-box role, being a much more complete and rounded player than he was back at Leicester. His positioning is second to none, and his reading of every match situation could be studied at footballing academies. Here's a shocking stat for you, and it's quite unbelievable. Since joining England in 2015, N'Golo Kante never received a red card in any competition. This is a surreal fact because Kante's tasks is to go into tackles, break up the play, recover the ball for his teammates, and sometimes even foul if it's necessary. Somehow, the little magician transferred his humbleness on the pitch, and he was able to avoid any rough challenges in a position where that's basically one of the requirements. He is now one of the most well-respected players, not just in Chelsea, but in the league in general. Everyone knows how hard-working Kante is, but fame doesn't affect him at all. You'll still see him running his heart out just as he did the first day he started playing professional football at 8 years old. If there's one thing we could say about Kante, it's that he never changed. A humble, kind, and successful person, N'Golo Kante should serve as a lighthouse for everyone who wants to stay on the right path. He'll often be seen riding a bicycle, just enjoying life but never imposing himself upon others or letting the fame and money get to him. Never forget your roots, because one thing is for sure, N'Golo never will.